Welcome back to the Prep Rally podcast. Football is wrapping up here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. I'm your host, Sydney Ruth Mulvannon.
I'm Graham Thomas, and yes, Sydney, football is almost done. We're right there. We got a couple more to go, though. We're breaking it down and making our last predictions for Class 3A and 4A.
And, of course, we're counting down our top 5 and our Gimme 5 with the top players of the week. So let's get right into it, y'all. Prep Rally, let's recap some games.
All right. Well, I think we have to get this one out of the way. Not pretty for the Bentonville Tigers on Friday night.
It wasn't pretty for the games that I watched, which one of them was the Bentonville game. It was kind of sad for unforeseen circumstances that their quarterback was out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was sad because I was hoping for a really good matchup.
Oh, I think we all were.
Yeah.
And it really didn't transpire that way. The Bentonville quarterback, Cole Slepecki, goes out very early in the ballgame, really like the third offensive play or so. He tried to go back in and just got hit again really hard. There was concern over a head injury. And you got to do the right thing there. You can't mess around with that kind of stuff. So, Bryant, they are really good. They are just a very, very good football team. And
I'm excited for a few of these players to come to the Hogs next year. So that was also cool for me, at least.
What was really, you see Bryant on the field, and they look the part for sure. But
yeah.
You get on the field and stand next to him. Like, I'm standing next to Matthew Nelson, who is committed to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I'm looking up at this man. I think he's 6'5", 250-pound defensive end, and I mean, Leland. That's kind of where you want to start with when you're drafting your all team. You want to start with a really good 6'5" defensive end.
That was me whenever I was looking up photos for Hogs because they were talking about all the in-state players who signed, and I looked at this picture of TJ Hodges, and I'm like, dang, this kid looks like he's 25.
Yeah. So, Bryant wins 27-7.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that close. I mean, Bryant was in control.
And I think I was the only one that picked him, right? You two Bentonville stands.
I mean, you couldn't have told me during the middle of the year when Bentonville was rolling like they were that they weren't the best team in Class 7A. They had everything going. At the end of the year, things just weren't clicking like they were earlier in the year. Even against Springdale, against Conway, for sure. They won those games. They got through them, but they couldn't find that same rhythm.
Yeah.
And I don't.
But Bryant's won 6 out of the last 7 state championships in the state's largest classification. So there's a reason for that as well.
Excuse me. Yeah. I think 7 of 8 actually now. Now that they've beaten Bentonville, because they won 5 in a row. Then they beat Bentonville last year. Mm-hmm. There was that one year where they didn't win at all. They were,
okay, so 7 out of 8.
7 out of 8.
So there's a reason.
Yes, Bryant's a huge reason why they didn't play well. I'll be the first to say that.
All I can say is maybe for Bentonville, 3rd time's a charm in a row. Maybe they get there next year and they take it.
Actually, that would be their 5th time in a row to go to the state championship game.
In a row?
In a row, yeah. Because this year was number 4.
They've won one of.
No.
No.
No, Fayetteville beat them one of those years that they didn't lose to Bryant.
You didn't see that.
They had really close losses to Fayetteville. They could have won that game last year. Bryant, they could have won that game. This year, in the first year they played Bryant in 2022, Bryant was in control. It's tough. I mean, it's tough to win a state title, Sydney.
Yeah, I know, but this brings me back to my cheer days. I mean, I feel for them at this point because I remember being on the national stage and getting 2nd, and it was the worst. So I hope it's 5th time's a charm.
Well, all that being said, Bentonville had a really great year, 12-1. I mean, you can't. I mean that's a great year. and I know it's tough for them to swallow. They'll get back to work and get after it and try to get back there. That's probably all I could say. Let's go on to 6A. What a game! What a performance by the Shiloh Christian Saints, beating Greenwood 70-50. And
I never thought I'd see the day where Greenwood got beat like that. 70 points. That was bananas, but
I think
it was the highest scoring state championship game in the modern playoff era, which goes back to 1968. So the highest scoring game, state championship game, 1,169 yards of offense, including 713 yards of offense in the first half.
Yeah.
Leland and I were having a great time in the press box, keeping up with the yardage just in the first half.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
To let everyone know, these two were staying warm while me and the other crew were down on the field freezing just to get footage for y'all. So
in the first half, I would point out.
Our producer was down there the whole time.
Well, I guess because Diana's a soldier,
Well, yeah. I mean, Faith and I are too. We just
y'all did a great job.
Give ourselves a little grace period.
So back to the game. And I think Chris Young, Kane Archer, the Greenwood Bulldogs will be the first one to say Shiloh had a great plan and executed it great and played great and absolutely deserved to win that game. And
I think what I found out also too recently, which I was not aware of, but this I think was like that group, the group of seniors from Greenwood's first loss since their freshman year of high school.
They lost their last game of the year in what would have been their freshman year. I don't know how many of those kids were up on the varsity, but they lost in the state championship game to Pulaski Academy. Leland was there. And that was a tough loss, like within, a couple of plays, right, Leland?
Yeah, that was, they've had a tremendous run, especially these seniors. They had won 38 straight games and, another conference championship. And, they had everything rolling. But I tell you, Shiloh Christian, there's the saying, to the victors go the spoils. Well, Shiloh Christian was definitely the victor on Saturday night. They had a great plan, and like you said, they executed it.
Well, it makes me sad too because I enjoyed this rivalry. I think it's one of the best rivalries in my opinion, and it's sad that Shiloh's going to the 7A, Greenwood's going to the 5A next year. We're not going to get this kind of excitement. I mean, like these are the two top teams in the 6A. So
and it's been kind of fitting too the last couple of years because the conference battles have been so good just in the regular season, and they, like last year's was such a bruising game with Hudson Ball, Leland. The way he just nobody could block him and nobody could block Cash Archer. It was such a defensive struggle, and for it to end like this, an offensive shootout. And we're going to get more into some of the stars of how that played out a little bit later in the show. But I do want to say this, though, because and Leland and I have both seen this over the years where you've had a team that's won 38 in a row or 6 state championships in a row or something, and you're there to witness the moment where it all comes to an end. And all good things do come to an end. I have never seen a team more gracious and humble and accepting than the Greenwood Bulldogs were on Saturday night after losing the state championship. It's hard after you've won so much and been so used to it. These are crushing moments. Cody Taylor gets the Brandon Burlsworth Award, goes out to midfield and takes the photo and has got a big smile on his face. I can't even imagine how hard that was for him to do.
I mean, on top of that, I wanted to say props to the Shiloh players because a lot of them were cheering for Cody too.
Yeah,
that's always good to see as well.
Well, and then Kane Archer goes out and gets the state runner-up trophy.
Yeah,
it's not. They make teams take a photo with the state runner-up trophy in that moment. I don't really like it because they take it with them pregame.
Yeah,
it's a tough moment,
Well, and it's not to knock Shiloh, but at the same time, they are up in the 7A conference. There's so many, not just them, but good teams around them. But Greenwood, that's their town is football. You know what I mean? So I can see that being more crushing when all it is football. Like that's what their town is.
I can guarantee you.
I think too, Graham, for what you're saying. Shiloh Christian and Greenwood now have played 4 times in the last 2 years. They had a great run back several years ago where they played some non-conference games against each other. There were also knockdown dragouts. So I think these two programs, these coaches, the players for sure have a great deal of respect for each other
Yeah.
because they've been champions and they can recognize that championship feel across the field from them. So I think there's a lot of that in this case too.
I just had a great deal of respect for the way they handled themselves after the ball game, and then we had our River Valley Photo Day for Fall Sports Awards and some football awards. Those Greenwood boys showed up then too. Leland said with a smile on their face and happy to be there. That's not hard.
Absolutely.
That's not an easy thing to do coming off of a disappointing defeat.
Well, I'm just really excited that I got to see it one last time, the rivalry, and got to see some of the best players personally in the state play. So
yeah, and you're right. The best of the best were on display this weekend for sure.
yeah.
Moving down to Class 4A, so the Elkins Elks. My goodness, what a great run they are on right now. They won a tough game against Batesville Southside in the second round. They beat Arkadelphia in the quarterfinals. Then last week they go on the road and put up, what was it, Leland, 50-something points on Stuttgart at Stuttgart.
At Stuttgart. Yeah.
And defensively just really flummoxed them. Flummoxed.
What?
Yeah. Flummoxed them. And now the Elkins Elks are back in the state championship game. They will play Dardanelle on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. at War Memorial Stadium. Leland, we got to get going. It's time to get back to the Rock.
Absolutely. We'll be ready to go Saturday morning and roll into Little Rock for the final 2 games of the season. And you talk about that 4A. I thought it would be Stuttgart and Warren, a rematch. Well, instead, it's an Elkins-Dardanelle rematch from non-conference play, 2 months ago? 3 months ago.
What an interesting rivalry this has been. So Dardanelle beat Elkins 13-9 in week 3, week 4, whatever week it was earlier in the year. Last year, Elkins beat Dardanelle 50-0. I mean, whoa. Now, different Elkins team, but just a great job by Zach Watson. They've had a lot of different guys stepping up, like the Ham brothers, the Williams brothers on defense. Austin Bourne, the backup quarterback, has come in and made some plays on offense, on defense. Ben Napier, when he's healthy, has made some plays. I'm excited to watch the Elks play. I haven't gotten to see them all year, so we'll get to see them. We're meeting at the McDonald's in Alma at 8 a.m. Saturday morning if you want to join us, Sydney.
I will not be there.
But it's on PBS.
No, I can't this Saturday because my church is doing a Christmas mall. So presents for kids in need, state championship. I think one outweighs the other.
Well, and Graham, you'll also get to see Creed Vega, an outstanding quarterback for Dardanelle.
I'm excited about that. And I get to see my guy, Ron Green. Shout out to Ron Green, our photographer in the River Valley. He's done a great job for us all year, so we need to make sure Ron sees this clip. Ron Green, number 1. Moving on to Class 3A. Not a surprise at all. The Mansfield Tigers are in the state championship game. Boy, they pounded the living daylights out of Salem in a rematch of last year's semifinal game. Same 2 teams. And, I can only imagine what it was like in Mansfield on, Leland, you were in Fordyce and you got to experience the elements on the grassy field. I imagine at Salem, it may not have been, at Mansfield, it probably wasn't as muddy or wet, but it was sure cold.
Yeah, but I'm sure it was well worth it to the Mansfield Tigers. In fact, from the outcome of the game and from what I saw in Harold's great write-up at Sunday's River Valley Democrat-Gazette, it didn't affect the Mansfield Tigers much on Friday night. 449 yards of offense, kind of their usual night, except they also threw the ball some and got a lot of those, a lot of the yards through the air. So that's kind of a different element that they've been working on lately. That's going to maybe play into Saturday afternoon's game as well. It's going to be cold Saturday afternoon, but I bet Mansfield takes its running game to Little Rock.
I would agree. The running game and defense tend to travel well. And something I got reminded of this week, Leland, is actually Sam Lane at the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette that reminded me of this, because he was going to try and visit with the teams. Everybody gets to go practice at War Memorial Stadium during the middle of the week. That way you're not just, you get to walk around the field and you're not just in shock by what you get when you finally show up to play your game. You've been there.
Yeah, Fordyce and Mansfield had their walkthroughs on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I'm glad to know that they still do that. I had forgotten that actually happens, and most teams make a big deal out of it. You're going to go practice, you're going to go have lunch somewhere real nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all that good stuff. But I not to tip my hand here a little bit, but I really feel really good about Mansfield in this state championship game.
Well, it comes down, all these games really have come down to, I guess Bentonville and Bryant didn't, but, all these games have, in any big game kind of comes down to turnovers, and Fordyce's 18-13 win over Boonville on Friday night in the semifinals. It kind of came down to the only mistake of the game, and that was a bad snap on a punt, and Fordyce turned that into a 12-7 halftime lead despite only 86 yards of offense. But it was the one mistake, and then led to an 18-13 win.
Y'all should have seen Leland on Friday night. Mud and boots everywhere. So,
how about, some great photos, though. Games like that are, they make the photos look great.
You did get some great photos. I tell you, they were really good. So, with all that being said, Sydney,
y'all know what's coming, Leland. You get what I'm putting down?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
We want to thank our sponsor, West Termite. Take control of your pests with West. Whether it's termites, mosquitoes, bedbugs, weeds, or lawn disease, West has the experience serving Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma since 2003. Book your free consultation online today at westtermite.com. 1, 2, 3.
After all.
Leland.
After all.
West knows
Pest
best.
Okay, I'd give that like a 6 out of 10.
Like try number 16 or whatever episode we're on.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Well, that being said, we'll be right back.
Hey, we got it pretty good when he was here in the studio.
No, we didn't. He read the line before it.
Oh, book your free consultation.
I even pointed to after all, West knows pest best, and he goes, book your free consultation.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Prep Rally. Let's get into some upcoming matches and predictions. Very few this time.
Very few. But that's okay. That's we're supposed to have just a couple of games left at this point. So let's start with the Class 3A state championship game. Mansfield versus Fordyce at War Memorial Stadium. A noon kickoff. I hope it's bright, sunny. I know it's going to be cold. Leland, I think, I've not seen Fordyce play. You have. You've seen Mansfield, so I think it'd only be appropriate for you to kind of break this one down about what the keys are.
Well, Mansfield is going to have to do what they've done all season, and that's run the ball. Now, Fordyce has already seen a team very similar to Mansfield on Friday night. I'm not going to say they shut down Boonville, but they limited them. Now, Boonville had 51 rushing attempts for 255 yards. Not bad, but that's about 180 yards below Boonville's season average. So for them they just loaded up the box, and they decided that they weren't going to let Boonville rushed the ball. Boonville did some. But I tell you, on the flip side, the three-headed monster of quarterback Cadillac Ellison, um, and then Gamble, the running back, and then Jamartez Stroud, the running back, Micah Gamble, the running back. Those three guys are probably better than any trio, any three that Mansfield has seen this season. Cadillac
Even
Ellison,
Boonville.
the three-headed monster of that combination. Those three, because of what they can do and what they are capable of. Cadillac Ellison is a 6'3", 260-pound quarterback that can throw it about 60 yards flat-footed. Then, of course, you talk about Micah Gamble, a speedster, and then Stroud. He caught a 58-yard touchdown pass on Friday night in stride from Ellison. So that combination and the fact that they were able to shut down Boonville's rushing attack on Friday night certainly gives some thought to Fordyce, and the fact that Fordyce, they've got a pretty good tradition, and they've been there and done that. Mansfield's first trip to the state championship game, but I still think this Mansfield team has been on a mission and that they are very capable of and will win their first state football title in school history.
I know they always say don't compare scores, but when I look at that Fordyce Boonville game on a sloppy field at Fordyce, and for Fordyce to win, by a very close margin, and I think Mansfield is better than Boonville. I think, just like you, Leland, I think Mansfield's going to win the state championship on Saturday afternoon. Sydney?
I have not picked against the Tigers all season, and I ain't doing it now. Mansfield. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, hopefully that happens. We'll be really happy for Coach Whit Overton. Been a great year for them. And the Elkins, Elks, and Dardanelle. Now, I know you got to see Dardanelle just a few weeks ago, Leland, and I got to give Dardanelle credit. I've just been saying all year, someone's going to get him, someone's going to get him, someone's going to get him, and nobody's gotten him. So
nobody's gotten him.
This is a rematch. Elkins is a really good football team, really well coached. Dardanelle appears to be the same way. This may come down to, quite frankly, who has the ball last.
Well, or possibly, who's going to play the best defense on Saturday night. I think that's going to be a big part of that too. I think Elkins is a little more balanced than Dardanelle, but who's got the best defense? And that's hard to say. Dardanelle limited Hamburg's, Nikel Lewis to 150 some yards rushing.
That's
doesn't
impressive.
It doesn't sound like a great defensive effort, but they limited him pretty well, and he's set the single season state record for rushing touchdowns this season. So it's going to come down to, I think, who plays the best defense on Saturday night on what looks like going to be a very cold Saturday night.
Who you got, Leland?
I'm going to have to go with, we keep up with all this stuff, and it was great to, keep up and watch all the things that Kane Archer has done. Creed Vega is a very good quarterback, too. He's about to become the first quarterback in state history to pass for 6,000 yards and rush for 4,000 yards. Their whole offense centers around him, but they've got some other guys around him, too. And even though Elkins went to Stuttgart, very impressive win on Friday night, I just think Dardanelle is, like Mansfield, maybe a team of destiny this season.
Sydney?
I'm going to have to go with the underrated but much deserving Creed Vega and his team. So, Dardanelle.
Creed Vega feeling love. I've got to go with Elkins just for that reason alone.
Listen,
I can feel the
listen.
vibes.
I technically would have to go with Elkins because technically, like, my little brother plays for Elkins. He doesn't actually get on the field, but like family friend little brother to me is on the team. So
Oh.
technically I should pick Elkins, but I'm not going to.
Well, and the fact that Elkins has been so close. I mean, they've been there, and boy, they've just been so close. You know, they lose to Arkadelphia last year. They've
That
had
was not
runs.
close, so they got blown out in that game.
Right, but I mean, as far as getting close to
Mhm.
winning a championship, you know, they've semifinals. They got to the championship game last year. I mean, they've knocked on the door.
I,
Is this the year they knock it down?
I'm channeling my
I don't
Rick
know.
Fires here. They're not scared. This is the year they get over the hump. And
You gotta say it like Rick Fires.
scared. They ain't scared.
You know, they ain't scared.
We need a clip of that.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into the top 5 and Gimme 5, we want to remind everyone that NWAOnline.com and the River Valley Democrat-Gazette.com are the premier spots to get all the latest news on all high school sports. Additionally, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Prep Rally Sports, where we do a lot of fun stuff, fun antics with players and coaches.
Including still more to come. I do want to say, before we get into the top 5 and Gimme 5, a couple things here, Sydney. We had it in the newspaper this week that 2 of our coaches in the area have decided to retire. One of them is Doug Lockridge, who was in the River Valley for so long, won a state championship at Charleston, was the head coach at Alma, the AD at Alma. Then he got out of being an AD and went to Siloam Springs and helped stop the massive losing streak they were on and win a conference game. He announced on Tuesday that he is retiring, and certainly congratulations to Coach Lockridge. And then Leland, Danny Abshire, we started hearing rumbles about this last week at Prairie Grove. Danny Abshire is going to retire at the end of the school year, and just what a great run he has had at Prairie Grove. And both these guys really are just super dudes. I mean, they're really fun to work with, and we really appreciate everything they've done. And I know you probably like to say something there too.
Those guys, I mean, both of them are just great coaches, but great human beings. They've been fantastic to work with through the year, and one of the things that's so important to us when it comes to dealing with the coaches is how accessible they make their players and just how welcoming they are to us. And man, those guys are 2 of the best, especially Coach Abshire. He was at Prairie Grove his entire head coaching career, and to win over 200 games at one and only one school, it's a rare thing to do these days. And so it's kind of sad to see both of those guys retire, but at the same time, happy for them.
Also, wanted to say, in upcoming Sunday editions of the River Valley Democrat-Gazette and the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, starting on December 21, we will be unveiling our all-area teams for volleyball, football, golf, cross-country, tennis, or fall sports. We had our awards luncheons last week. Leland and I did the one in Fort Smith, and Sydney and I did the one in Northwest Arkansas. It was awesome, right, Sydney?
Yeah.
And so be looking out for those. We're honoring a lot of great athletes from the fall season, and looking forward to seeing how those presentations turn out. We had photo day yesterday. Just had a lot of fun with these kids. So that's my 2 quick.
That was not quick.
It was great. That's what it was. It was great.
I mean, you're a few decades older than me, so your definition of like a fast speech is way different from mine.
And cut. Just kidding. All right, let's do Gimme 5. Leland, let's go with it.
Yo, this is Champ Davis. This is River Valley. Gimme 5.
These are the top 5 performances of the last week in the River Valley. Number 5, we started with basketball. The Lavaca Golden Arrows won the Golden Arrow Classic on Saturday night. One of the few, I guess, November and December tournaments or classics that is a true tournament style. They went through it 3-0, defeated E Ridge in the championship game on Saturday night. Number 4, Nico Schmitz scored 19 points for Subiaco Academy in a 63-57 win over Van Buren at Subiaco Academy last week. Number 3, Brody Chambers in the loss to Fordyce on Friday night. 18 carries, 132 yards, and a 39-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter that had Boonville within 18-13. Number 2, Kane Archer closed his high school career in grand style as far as another great offensive performance. Threw for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns. He ran for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns and just closed out a tremendous career. Also, the Arkansas Gatorade Player of the Year for the second year in a row. Only the third football player to ever do that in Arkansas. Number 1, the Mansfield Tigers' 48-22 win over Salem sent them to Little Rock for the first time ever to compete in the state championship game on Saturday afternoon. Big shout out to the offensive line of Logan Orr and Caden Orr brothers, twin brothers, James Bosley, Xander Walters, and Ethan Martin, who have cleared the way for a tremendous rushing performance and offense performance for the Tigers this year. 445 yards of offense on Friday night in the win over Salem. And now they'll be playing for the state championship on Saturday afternoon at War Memorial Stadium. And today I am sporting the Village Academy Beavers. 40 years ago was their inaugural season. And even though it was a short-lived 4 years of existence for Village Academy, they were still able to leave their legacy on Arkansas high school football.
Hi, I'm Jeb Slaughter, and this is NWA Top 5. Go Elks.
All right. The top 5 in Northwest Arkansas for the week, and let me be real clear about number 5 here. Any other week, this would be number 1. Easton McCullough, Farmington, 56 points in a 81-39 win over, I'm going to mispronounce it, Bishop Meade, Kansas, in the Midwest Elite Showcase in Tipton, Missouri. Easton's a sophomore now, Sydney. So a year older, a year wiser, still can really fill up the basketball and fill up the scoreboard, I should say. Number 4, Elkins, Connor Ham, 30 carries, 154 yards. I think it was 4 touchdowns. In Elkins' big win at Stuttgart on the road in the Class 4A semifinals last week. Number 3, you talk about winning some battles. The Shiloh offensive line was just unbelievable against Greenwood. They won that battle. The defensive line made Kane Archer uncomfortable quite a bit of the night. I should say the whole defensive package. Shiloh does some unique things with their defense and really can bait you into some things. They did give up some points, but they got some turnovers, and that was the difference, I think, in them beating Greenwood to win the state championship. Number 2, Cole Creighton, the junior quarterback for Shiloh Christian, completed 18 of 26 passes for 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. All 3 of them went to Chandler Kemp, who also had a big game for the Saints. Great overall offensive performance. They had 668 yards of offense. Then number 1, Griffin Mason of Shiloh Christian ran 27 times for 164 yards and 4 touchdowns. Anytime they needed something big, they gave it to Griffin. He was the state championship game most valuable player. I believe we have Sydney caught up with Griffin after the ball game.
Are going to be in the same conference and you guys came out victorious. So kind of just describe what that means to you.
It means everything. This being my last game in high school, I'm just so thankful we got to bring out the W. And all my brothers, playing for them, like Oh man, I don't know. It just means everything to me. I live this game, so it's just so thankful.
And throughout this whole season, you guys had a lot of doubters. You did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what can you kind of just say to that now that it's over?
I don't know. Shiloh's always kind of looked down on, but at the end of the day, like I said again, like just put the ball down and we'll play. No matter who, we'll play the game. So. Yes.
You guys are going into 7A next year. So, what could you say to some of your underclassmen going into the 7A conference next year?
Yeah, it might be a challenge, but I think they're up for it. I mean, I hope I've left like a leadership there, and I know our underclassmen like they won't quit. So.
You want to catch those interviews with Cole, with Griffin and Chandler, you can go to Prep Rally Sports to watch those.
And Colton Miller, who had an interception return for a touchdown, we got to interview him too, and those are all on our social media pages.
And a special shout out, but next week we have a special, you can't say who it is, but we have a special guest in the second half of our podcast episode. Somebody maybe from Shiloh, but we won't say who yet.
Okay. Yeah, so it's we wrapped up a little bit of football season here. We'll wrap up the rest of it next week.
Thanks for watching. This is Prep Rally.